Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wingcat Sports, and it's finally time to talk about the Lions again. It's been a few weeks since we've actually talked about the Lions, but the start of free agency has happened, and a lot of moves have happened over the past couple of weeks that we haven't really got to talk about. Um, we'll start with kind of players that we have cut, and then kind of move on from there. They have been saving some cap space. They ended up cutting Jalen Reeves-Maybin. They cut Zadarius Smith to save some cap space. Um, and that kind of led to one of our more major signings, and we'll see what ends up happening with that. But and then a couple re-signings have also happened so far, with Derek Barnes being re-signed, Marcus Davenport being surprisingly re-signed. I would have rather kept Darius Smith over re-signing Marcus Davenport. And then the Lions yesterday made a deal with DJ Reed. So I mean that is your big move that you made so far. You replaced Carlton Davis, who went to um, New England, with DJ Reed on a much more friendlier team deal.
Yeah, I mean that was a good signing. Um, he's a notch below Carlton Davis as far as analytics go and things like that, but not that much different. Um, he kind of worries me. He's like right there with Terry and Arnold leading the league in pass interferences, but um, hopefully that'll improve, and we'll see where Brad Holmes goes ahead of this. You still got some pass rushers out there. I'll be very surprised if they make a deal for Trey Hendrickson.
I don't think they are.
It's just not his style. He might sign Joey Bosa.
Joey Bosa might end up coming here. He might re-sign to Darius Smith.
Right.
And just a more friendly deal than what they previously had. I could believe that. Moreover, probably going over get Joey Bosa, but they could. He's an option, or they're just going to roll with Marcus Davenport, draft a defensive end in the draft, and see what happens.
Right.
I mean,
I'm all for, like I said, Holmes. Chicago seems to be loading up on the line. It's going to be tough. Our division is going to be tough. We were talking about it today, whether, and maybe it's a subject for a video or something like that, but if our window is closed, if we had a chance and we blew it, that's always a possibility.
I think it's closing, but I don't think it's closed.
I think teams
are catching up to you pretty fast.
I feel the same way. It's closing, but
it all depends on what you do. It all depends on what you do. There's rumors that we're going to go after Cooper Kupp. There's rumors, of us going after Darius Slay now because he got released from the Eagles and he'll be part of the quarterback. But you don't need him because you got DJ Reed. So unless you're just going to sign him to be here and then move people further down the depth chart, which I don't think you're going to do, I don't think Darius Slay will be here. We'll see how other teams in the division are going to be. The Packers have done nothing so far, which is surprising. I mean, the Bears have really fixed up their offensive line. The Vikings, we'll see what their quarterback situation is going to be now that Sam Darnold is the Seattle Seahawk. We'll see what happens. But, I mean, there's stuff. He has done fantastic in the draft and always has been slow on free agency. And that's not been a problem because your team has been good. It's just we'll see what happens. Dan Skipper also got re-signed, and I mentioned that earlier in the video. Dan Skipper is also re-signed, but you got a couple guys back you thought you would get. And again, not much. I'm not seeing much rumors of anything else happening from what I've been checking since I made the video of anything major, because that's usually how Brad Holmes is. It's not a lot of major deals that happen.
Right, and that's what happens when you become one of the better teams in the league. You don't have to make too many more deals. You don't have to. You're not in a position where you're trying to, change over 3 or 4 positions. You're pretty much set, especially on offense. And on defense, like I said, they signed Barnes, got Anzalone, they got Campbell. So that's looking like their linebacking core right at the moment. Probably could use one more. They're probably going to draft an edge rusher in the draft. I would think that's what most people are thinking, and it makes the most sense. So So we'll see.
I mean, according to this website, we're still sitting around, 52 million in cap space, which we'll see if that's true or not as I look through the team. So I don't think they have everybody. I don't think it's updated. This one I found yet, but you're probably still amongst in the 40s of cap space after everything going on, and you still got time. Again, you got people you have to re-sign to some pretty decent deals. Um, because if you're gonna pay Aiden Hutchinson top dollar, he's gonna get around that 40 million that Myles Garrett just got. You're not gonna get Myles Garrett. You're not gonna get Max Crosby at all.
No,
because they both signed their extensions. You're not probably gonna give up a bunch of stuff for Trey Hendrickson. So you're going to sit where you're at. You're going to slowly put your money into who you want to put it into. Because again, Hutchinson's due, Kirby Joseph is due, and we'll see where we end up going. I mean, there's just not a lot of wiggle room for the Lions to actually do what everyone wants to do. Then I don't know what they're expecting them to do.
No, there isn't a lot of wiggle room. There's not. They don't need a lot. They need to shore up probably their defensive line, and get some depth for the offensive line. Keep Goff upright. That's the key to success with us. We got a really good receiving core, even though, like I said, people are talking about Cooper Kupp, but where are you going to put him? Did they sign that Patrick?
Tim Patrick has not been signed yet.
That's a guy I'd like to go after.
Your issue is as the years go on, so like next year we're going to lose a lot of cap space depending on what we do, because now you're only at 22 million next year in cap space. You go from 50 something million this year to 22 million next year. But in 2027 you have 109 million currently in cap space.
Right. These guys always just seem to be able to work something out. You're going to have to re-sign Hutchinson. I'd like to see what he looks like this year before you do that. People are saying you'll be 100%, but it's hard to believe anyone's ever 100% after breaking your leg. It's just hard to believe that, but that could be. I hope so.
I said he's been looking good from what I've seen on social media. He's been running, doing whatever, but it's going to take a while. He broke his leg. He's not going to be the same that he was last time unless he's a monster and does all that working out and gets everything done. But like I said, we'll just see what ends up going on throughout the next week or so. We'll get back to regular videos, talk about what's going on, because again, there's not a lot going on with the Lions, because then that's kind of been typical. Not a lot is happening. You haven't lost a lot of people. The biggest name you've lost so far in free agency is Iffy. Right. He has gone to Miami, but again, you're not really worried about that because of who you got on your team.
Right. We got pretty much depth for the defensive backs.
We'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. I think the biggest concern is probably another outside.
Well, I mean, right now, if no injuries, you got Branch, Kirby Joseph, Terrion Arnold, and the guy we just signed.
Well, so your biggest concern probably is
pretty young. That's a pretty young group.
Your biggest concern probably is defensive end, just in case Hutchinson gets hurt again or something. You don't want him to be the only one. Now, I don't know how much faith we all have in Marcus Davenport to stay healthy for a season.
You certainly need more offensive line depth, and you need an edge rusher to complement Hutchinson.
And right now, a wide receiver, because you're down one good wide receiver.
Maybe a wide receiver, right? You can draft that.
Unless, Tim Patrick signs back or Cooper Kupp gets cut and you sign Cooper Kupp.
Well, we're going to sign one of those two, I believe. I mean, it's not which one or the other.
And you probably draft somebody. Most likely also. Because why not? Right. But I said it hasn't been super active for the Lions, but we'll see what ends up happening. We'll end it here, though. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you want the Lions to do for the rest of the offseason as we head towards the draft, which realistically is like a month away almost, surprisingly. So maybe we'll get into some draft videos.
It's late April now, right? Last weekend in
April. April's next month. We're about a month away almost. So maybe we'll get into the draft soon. Lions meets for the draft. But like I said, see you next time. See everybody soon.